And I'm pretty sure she has class today, so she
Yes.
doesn't even get time to process that. She has to just go to class with this new bullshit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Lorna's story. We are picking up right where we left off last time, as you have woken up in maybe a bout of surprise. It is early
Just a
in the
little bit.
morning. It is early in the morning before class begins, and you have another voice in your head.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Well, that's not going to stop me from getting breakfast.
Okay.
Since I'm pretty sure Atlantis or whatever her name is has gone silent because she wants to sleep. So, trying to grasp on some semblance of normalcy and control in her life, Lorna's going to go eat some eggs
Okay, you go to breakfast.
or whatever the golems are serving.
Let me roll. You gain 7 temporary hit points from breakfast this morning, as this morning breakfast is hotcakes.
Yes.
Lots of hotcakes with various sorts of potatoes and sausage with them.
Oh my God.
Very much a carbohydrate heavy breakfast, but you eat your fill. Do you see if you can find anyone, or do you go straight to class?
Um, I think she kind of speed runs this breakfast. I don't think she thinks that she's in the right state of mind to entertain small talk or
Sure.
not keep on her face that she's very jarred right now by her new friend.
Uh-huh. All right, then. So you avoid conversation, eat breakfast, and make haste to Tabernac's classroom. When you arrive at Tabernac's classroom, you find Halliwell and Callie are basically entering at the same time as you. When they see you, Callie says, "Oh, good morning, Lorna."
Good morning.
Halliwell looks at you and he says, "You don't look like you slept particularly well, Lorna. Are you all right?"
You know, you nail right on the head. I guess I just had bad dreams.
"I'm sorry to hear it.
Me too, but sometimes it's like that.
May I recommend stopping by the herb store and gathering some meadow thistle? I know for a fact it helps one fall asleep."
Hollowell does weed. So that was on a character. Lorna will. Does Lorna know what Malethistle is?
Roll a nature check. No.
Mm. My father never would have let me have that. She'll say, I actually had got some tea recently. I just didn't take it last night. I'll look into it. Thank you.
I'm certain it would help you, but let me know. And he heads to the table where he normally does his work.
I was more concerned that he's ever showed me in the entire time I've known him.
Well,
Maybe there's a person in there after all.
maybe. As you get into the class, you perhaps take a seat, getting your things out. The sound of footsteps climbing the stairs fills the area, and Tabernac in human form appears. And as he does, he says, "Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to see you all doing well." And he looks at you and he says, "Mostly. You look troubled, Miss Halloweth."
Nope.
"Very well. Today we are going to focus on our studies of the other planes. This is a important subject and one you will likely draw upon many times in the future. The plane you are on now, you most likely know, is the prime material. The primary plane. The original plane, where all began and all will end eventually. At least so the legends say. But don't let that dreary fact pull you down. As you encounter magic and other phenomena throughout the world, and you are a wizard with a contracting team, your knowledge of the planes will prove most effective, as any and all creatures that come here almost certainly at one point originated on a plane that is not this one. For example, monsters and terrible creatures that are the abominations of your nightmares often come from the negative energy plane or the far realm. Planes that are so terrible to behold that, well, they'd cause nightmares just to conceive of them. Other monsters or other creatures that are hard to understand can be native to the Underdark, which is actually a parallel of our plane, just underground, or even the Feywild. I'm sure you've heard stories of fairy folk and other such. As they venture about in our world, the Feywild, alarmingly close to our Alland Forest, is the most similar plane to our own, but is a place where magic is less dilute than here. The various forms of magic are almost highlighted in every effect of nature and life itself, and so strange things happen in the Feywild. Strange creatures are born. But that's just the beginning. So, today, each of you are going to choose a plane, and you are going to study it. Yes,
Our choice? Like, are you going to assign the planes, or are we picking?
Lorna. Do you have a preference?
Well, I seem to have a weird connectedness to the Shadowfell.
I have noticed some commonalities. You could, indeed, choose the Shadowfell, but you will eventually have to study all 14.
That's a lot. She doesn't say that. I say that. That's a lot of planes.
Yes.
Hey, that was Pen.
And that was Echo.
Okay, maybe pick for me, then?
Very
You
well.
want me to be well-rounded?
Please roll me a d20.
Okay. 11.
Okay, hold on.
It's the Shadowfell.
I think it is decidedly not the Shadowfell. All right. With an 11. You see Tabernac kind of scratching at his chin. He reaches up for a book from the nearest shelf, and he sets it in front of you, Lorna. It is a book that looks as though it was printed by mechanics. The actual lettering is very much copperplate. It is labeled The Synopsis of the Nine Hells.
Oh. Great.
I'm sure you will find it most fascinating. And as he begins to pick out other books for
What do they
for
get?
Callie and Halloweth. Let me I'll roll for him.
Of course it was the Nine Hells. I don't even know why I didn't think of that. I should have picked that one myself, but it worked out.
It looks to you. I just realized I rolled as Vinny the camera guy. That's fine.
Hey,
It doesn't
Vinny.
really matter. um, Callie gets Mount Celestia.
Divine.
Yes.
Interesting.
And Halliwell gets the temporal plane.
Oh, he'll have fun with that.
Uh,
Or it'll frustrate him, which will also be fun.
Halliwell's book, the book that Halliwell gets, is like it looks more like a large hand-bound leather tome that is almost, it's like one of those inexperienced individuals bound it together, so it joins at like a point, and it's just full of loose leaf and parchments and
Ooh.
journal entries, and as he looks at it, he says, Tabernacle, is there not an official paperwork on the subject of the temporal plane? And Tabernacle says, I'm sure there is, but in this case, this is what I have on the subject.
I hope it drives him insane.
Halliwell shrugs and opens the book, upon which a number of parchments out onto the desk, and oh, he begins trying to piece them together. As that is happening, and Callie has her own tome,
The
which on
opposite of
Mount
mine.
Celestia, it is a very ornately gilded book. You'd expect it to be the sort of tome that a high cleric would carry, with just very pronounced corners and almost metal hinges on the edges of the book for the spine. She sets it down on the table and opens it and begins to just kind of read. She's very quiet about it, as she actually seems interested in the subject of Mount Celestia. And you?
Well, this could actually prove beneficial. And I also like to study, so she would crack that bitch open.
Okay.
She's particularly looking for things that might help her in her specific circumstance.
Okay, so you're not just reading the book, you're actually trying to find some stuff for your current
She might
circumstance.
try to be doing it subtly, because if Tabernac notices her going like to the index and like going to a specific part of the book, that might be a little suspicious. She'll like flip around for a little bit and then settle on like contracts. Weird.
Okay. Roll. Okay, so the first thing as you open the book, you see that it is written from the perspective of an explorer. Someone that seems as though they have made it their goal to describe the Nine Hells to those who would not go there by choice.
Most people.
Yeah. The first entry you read, each of the Nine Hells was unique and usually mirrored the malevolent characteristics of their ruler. Or perhaps the archdevils were shaped by the domains of each level themselves. No one can be certain. In earlier cosmologies from the histories that I have found, each layer of hell was separate and infinite, and rigidly joined to their neighbors by portals at fixed locations. After the spell plague, the domains of the archdevils were described as territories, or circles. The relationship between layers and circles is not really known nor described, and you won't find any solid answers provided by devils, at least not in my experience. The relationship between the layers is also tense, as they don't always seem to get along. What follows are descriptions of the Nine Hells reported by various cosmologists working underneath, well, my research team. And so as you read along, I do pray the information you find inside is useful and practical. Marvellous Benelicillion.
Does that
And that's the author.
mean anything to me?
Roll history.
Maybe I've heard of this guy. Marvelous? Or Marvellous?
Marvellous.
Okay, that sounds like marvelous. History.
It's not spelled the same.
Pretty good.
Benelicillion is a name that has come up a few times. The Benelicillion family were famous as researchers. And they were known to be famous as researchers before the Silence. the family is supposed to have, unfortunately, ended during the silence, befalling plague that they could not find the answers to. But before the silence, they were known for revealing secrets about many of the planes and also exploring various demi-planes and generally being experts in conjuration magic. As you're reading this book on the Nine Hells and you are looking for information that would be beneficial to you particularly, go ahead and roll me an investigation and a D100.
She's looking for contracts and Azar Uriel.
Azar Uriel, yes.
Someday.
You will
Sorry.
eventually get it.
What did you ask me to roll?
I need an investigation, please.
Okay. Boo.
With a 12, this is a dense book. And you actually find yourself getting a little bit enraptured in the voice of the narrator as they are describing their own adventures through the Nine Hells. In particular, the second layer of hell, Dis, you learn to be, well, colloquially known as the Iron City of Dis, a city that is hundreds of miles wide. And it is a junction point for individuals to come to the Nine Hells and trade their wares for the things that the Nine Hells have to offer, which is an alarmingly large amount of things. You wouldn't think that constructions or wares could be sold out of the Nine Hells because all the stories you hear about the Nine Hells is that it's just a place of suffering. Except it doesn't seem to be the case. You learn of these massive engines that can be powered by the lives of others, but they can be used to create vast and massive constructs. A single Hellfire engine can be known to build an entire bridge across a 10-mile canyon on its own with no supervision. The sort of amazing constructs that, in a place like the Nine Hells, where lives are, well, expendable, when you have such currency, great feats of effort can be done. And while they are terrible, they are also magnificent in their own right. The things that you're reading, unfortunately, do not help you at all in your search for contracts. You got lost in the sauce, unfortunately.
I think Lorna would also realize, while she's not finding what she's looking for, she would think, didn't Elise say that Azar Uriel, what?
Azar Uriel.
Azar Uriel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good lord.
He owed a great debt to the Marigard because they helped him get into his position.
Mm-hmm.
How old is the Marigard?
Do you look for that in the book?
Well, does she know that off the top of her head?
No.
Well, why would it be in the book?
Well, you just randomly asked me this question in the context
Okay.
of the book.
Yes. Well, she would imagine that if this book was written pre-silence,
Mm-hmm.
that guy whose name I can't pronounce probably... No.
Azar Uriel?
No. Yeah, that bitch. He probably wasn't in his position of power when this book was written.
Probably not.
So she's going to stop looking for him and start focusing specifically on contracts.
I see. There was a through line here. Okay.
There was a through line, but
Roll me another investigation.
I think she's also really trying to keep her mental musings as quiet and sparse as possible.
Okay.
Problem studying Tabernac's lair.
Tabernac is not standing there staring at you and seeing what you're doing.
Unlike Hushen.
Yeah, as you are reading through the book and maybe taking notes or adding little markers to little things that you think might be important to look back on later, Tabernac has gone back down to his stage, and you can hear he's doing something on his own. Like, he's not...
Okay, she's paranoid.
Sure, but I'm just saying he's not staring at you.
Yeah.
All right, hold on a moment.
20 is a lot better.
With a dirty 20.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry, I have to skim through my own notes here. All right. As you look through the book and you are more specifically looking for maybe not specific individuals that have made contracts or their influences on them, you do find some excerpts about infernal contracts. Contracts varied in form and appearance, but were often presented with grand theatricality, such as appearing within a cloud of smoke or delivered by an imp. Some of the more common form contracts could take written on a scroll in blood or inscribed upon a stone formed by rapidly cooling lava, or etched on the flesh of a person in contract with the devil. Once the devil and the agreeing party each entered into the contract willfully, the boon that the devil offered was bestowed, and its beneficiary was indebted to pay a pre-specified price. If the contractee was unwilling or became otherwise unable to fulfill their end of the contract, they suffered one or more penalties as outlined by said contract. Customary penalties included the forfeiture of all owned material wealth, the unwilling adoption of one or more fiendish physical characteristics, or the transference of one's mortal soul to the offending party.
Uh, uh, fuck. Anything about ending a contract?
Yeah, as you're searching, you see infernal contracts could be voided, so long as both parties agreed. Under these circumstances, the devil and the contractee each continued on with their existences as if the contract had never existed to begin with. Devils often requested significant compensation before agreeing to nullify an infernal contract. Compensation for nullification often included endowment of great personal wealth, one or more soul stones, or extremely powerful artifacts.
Well, don't. Does Lorna know what those are?
Uh, roll a history.
Maybe.
A 17? Not really.
Are they
Well,
in the
you
book?
have... you could look.
Yeah. Cross reference.
You look for soul stones.
Mm-hmm.
Roll investigation.
Yeah, baby.
A soul stone, as you search... hold on. A soul stone is a magical currency used within the Nine Hells, and it was made from a special type of stone, typically known as moonstone or infernal rock. Each one was infused with the soul of a single creature. The soul was likely tormented and filled with despair as they were placed into the currency of a soul stone. Any creature of a non-evil alignment was only able to carry a few soul stones at a time, as they would typically corrupt an individual. That being said, a creature in possession of a soul stone could use its innate powers. The stone could be used to drain the life of a target creature. Another ability was the soul inside the stone could be communicated with telepathically. It would often answer questions, but they'd be likely vague, unless the individual was within the soul stone voluntarily.
Who would go in one voluntarily? Who'd want to be copper pieces for devils? Well, when she read soulstones as an exchange, as a way of potentially getting out of the contract, she thought maybe I can just buy some and them over, but that would probably be very expensive. Fuck.
You see, like, as you're looking forward, you look more, you see that the vast majority of soul stones are created on Minaros, another layer of hell, by the archdevil Mammon. The souls that were not good enough even to become lemurs were directly transferred straight into soul stones and infused into the economy of the Nine Hells.
He's the devil banker.
Yeah.
I think Lorna would just keep reading in general, kind of dissatisfied with the lack of, this is how you get out of this problem.
Okay. So, while you didn't quite find an answer to your personal issue, go ahead and roll me an investigation check and an intelligence check.
Okay. Okay. And intelligence. Oh, terrible. She's very distracted.
You're not really absorbing the information.
Yeah.
You're reading through the book.
On.
While you are maybe amused by the voice of the individual who wrote the book, it's just not. You're not really comprehending it. You are, as they say, distracted.
Mm-hmm.
It actually takes you a few moments as you are reading the book to realize you're being spoken to.
Sorry, what?
You see Callie is looking at you and she says, "Have you had any luck with that there? Mine's written by the most hobnobbiest of people."
Lorna will not be able to restrain her glance at Halloweth when she says that, but looks back at Callie.
Hallowell does not seem to notice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yes, it's absolutely dry, like the worst cracker you've ever had.
Halloweth says that?
No, this is Callie.
That was not her voice.
Sorry.
I
fuck up sometimes.
Okay. That was just a man's voice. Yeah, alright, well that's unfortunate. The author of this book is quite interesting, but the material is just so unpleasant.
You got the Nine Hells, right?
Sure did.
Yeah, I'd imagine that wouldn't be the best thing to listen to or read about.
No, but I imagine it's important.
They're all important.
True, but I mean in terms of, I've heard that wizards have a penchant for contracts. Who
Well,
else makes the best contracts?
they do. I mean, if you think about it, they're very much up our alley. Clever wording, the attempt to try and get through loopholes, hidden secrets within the words. It's very much right up what we try to do or try to pull. I imagine there's many stories of wizards trying to outsmart a devil.
I imagine often unsuccessfully.
Well, they're still around, and the wizards ain't. So?
Exactly.
I imagine so.
I think I'm going to have to try again later with the expectation that maybe I'll actually absorb something, but I don't know. Just coming off the back of a bad night's rest is not meshing.
Well, that is a shame to hear. You hear from behind you as Tabernac has climbed the steps. I was hoping you would absorb the material smoothly as you seem to have every other day. Why don't you come with me and take a look at the subject material?
What?
Come along. And he descends the stairs. And Callie says, "You've done it now."
I didn't do anything. Maybe that's why she's going to shut the book, leave it on her desk, and plod up the steps or down the steps or however you access.
They go down, down. You climb down the steps.
Yep, yep. Is it like an
Uh,
amphitheater?
no, no, not at all. It's a single stairway that goes down to the large. It's like a big sitting room with a stage on one side of it.
Okay.
Uh, there's a chaise lounge and several sofas and recliners. It's a comfortable room with all sorts of conversation pieces set about within it and art along the walls. This is Tabernac's lair. And as he leads you down into it, he does not head to the stage, but instead he heads to the corner where there is an object hidden beneath a canvas. And as
I
he
know what
pulls
that
it
is.
toward the center of the room, he lifts the canvas off of it and he says, I believe you've experienced this device before. This is the
Yes.
oraculum. I'm sorry, ocularum. It's a difficult word to say every time. You are going to peer through, and he cycles through the lenses until he finds a kind of misty gray one. And he holds it up so that the apparatus locks in place, and he wheels it in front of you, and he says, you are going to peer through this lens, but before you do, you are going to take a deep breath, ready yourself, for there is going to be a vast amount of information that you are going to take in.
Is this going to show me the nine hells?
Yes, yes it is.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She will do hopefully as instructed. Try to push all of the nonsense away.
Roll me an intelligence saving throw. At advantage.
Hey.
With a 17, you peer through the lens. What you see is not what you expected.
Mm-hmm.
What you see, as you did not actually read very far into the book, black stone in large blocks strewn about, where you see there are figures moving between them. Lost? Confused? You don't know what you're looking at. It is odd. It is unpleasant. There's this almost perception of oiliness. And as you are looking, roll me a d8.
Okay. This is not what I expected the hells to look like.
Suddenly, as you're looking, it's as though your perceptions, as they are swallowed entirely by this lens, your entire peripheral vision is if you're on this plane, looking out into this dark, black hellscape. It suddenly changes, and you are floating above a massive ocean. A sickly blue water below you that connects to huge icebergs and glaciers. Only this time you do see moving objects, strange, white, bug-like creatures that are the size of horses, milling across the surface of the ice. You see that they are chittering to each other. Do you speak Infernal?
I do.
You speak Infernal. Okay.
I do.
You understand what they're saying.
Ugh.
They are shouting at each other that they need to get to the other side of this glacier, that the ones they are looking for are surely close enough that they can taste them.
Ugh.
These devils, as you are sure you are looking at devils, seem to be ice devils of some kind, and they are awful to behold, and I need you to roll me another d8.
Okay. 2.
Your vision suddenly switches to something you do recognize, or at least it makes sense based on what you've read. A giant, massive, iron gray city spreads out before you. You are looking out over the Iron City of Dis. And it looks remarkably industrious, as there is no sign of tree or natural life anywhere. And a massive river flows through the center of the city. The river glows red, but not with lava. It doesn't look like it's hot. There's no steam rising from it. Instead, that red seems to be composed of the lost light of thousands of millions of souls as they flow through the river Styx.
This is a horrible place.
That being said, as you look down over the streets of the Iron City of Dis, you see there are townsfolk. People, tieflings, devils, individuals, imps that are milling about, going about their business, going to market, pulling carriages drawn by not horses. Strange, fell creatures that are horse-shaped, when some of them are horses, but they're horses that are aflame with massive, very long, horrible-looking teeth. Everything here is difficult to behold. A constant crawling of fear climbs up your chest as you look into the city of Dis. And there's this constant feeling that you're not alone. That even though you're just looking, you're being watched.
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep looking?
Well, can I see anything that's making direct eye contact with me?
No.
I think feeling overwhelmed, she would pull out.
Your perceptions are suddenly pulled out of the ocularum, and you are back in Tabernac's classroom. And he looks at you and he says, "Well, are you all right?"
Even the most civil parts were horrible.
"Well, that is the 9 hells for you."
One of the parts I saw was cold, though, which was not what I expected.
"Well, you did not get too far in that book, did you?"
No, sir.
The 9 hells are not all about burning and the melting of flesh and souls and all that. Although that'd be what the stories would tell you. That is merely only one plane, or rather one layer of the 9 hells. Most of the hells are a strange twisting of some facet of the prime material. In the future, when you do research more on the 9 hells, you will learn that it is not that far from our world, just twisted and perverse.
I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse about it.
Well, it doesn't really matter how
I
it makes you
suppose it
feel.
It is what it is.
Yes, it is a fact of nature, a fact of magic. The 9 hells exists, and there are creatures from it that you will have to deal with.
Yeah, I imagine you're probably correct in that. Can regular folk live there?
Not easily, but it can be done. There are instances where people have settled in the Iron City of Dis. It is the most hospitable location within the 9 hells, and it is a place where mortals are sanctioned to exist, without fear of slavery, as it were.
Oh, so there's a potential risk of that if you're just anywhere else.
Yes,
Great.
if you are just found wandering a circle of hell, and you do not have the strength to defend yourself, you can be subjugated.
Have you ever been?
Yes.
How did you find it?
Well, it's unpleasant, to say the least. I usually only went there when I absolutely had to.
Have you been multiple times?
Of course I have.
Someone told me that it was basically an inevitability that a wizard would make a contract with the devil at some point.
It is a common pitfall for the intellectually minded, especially ones that are frustrated or unable to achieve something. The power of a devil can be extremely persuasive.
Have you ever made a contract with the devil?
No, I have not needed to.
Insight check.
Okay.
Ew, terrible.
Hard to read.
I kind of assumed you wouldn't have. You seem perfectly capable of finding the answers to your problems without an annoying middleman.
I have certainly had my difficulties in the past, but the efforts of a devil I've never needed to partake in, I suppose.
I see.
If you do find yourself in a contract with the devil, be careful.
Well, I suppose the wise thing would be not to end up in a contract to begin with.
Yes, it would be.
I am going to try to continue to read now. At least until class is over.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so you go back to the book?
Yep.
Okay.
But it's gonna be very half-hearted. Like her notes are mostly doodles. And all of the words kind of blend together.
All right. Then I'm not going to have you roll. You're basically just kind of killing time. Toward the ends of the class, you do hear, if this is how you study, surely you are doomed.
This is not normal. But again, neither is having you here.
Was that necessary to point out? I mean, we both fucking know that.
Lorna just withholds the snarky response she wants to manifest, realizing that it would get her nowhere and not make her feel better. She thinks, I was trying to learn more about this contract that I have found myself in, but it's resisting finding.
Well, I'm going to go back to sleep.
Well, hold on. How did you end up in your contract with Hushen in the first place?
I don't know.
Will you remember Hushen?
Yes.
Did you have him at some sort of advantage?
I knew a secret that he didn't know. And I don't remember what it was.
I'm sure that pissed him off. He seems to like to know things.
Probably. He seems like the type to truly hold a grudge.
Right. And you pissed him off.
It seems like it, yes.
And you never planned on paying him back.
Absolutely not.
But you could have figured that with your penchant for persevering, that it would have come to bite you eventually, right? Problem for a different day.
I had figured it'd be a problem for future me, and I was right.
But generally speaking, you would have had to deal with it. You're just lucky it happens to be me.
Well... Are you asking me or telling me? Because it feels like you're telling me.
It's a little bit of both. But it kind of brings me to my next point. And maybe you'll actually have an answer for this. You have continued to live for a very long time. That's a fact. And it seemed to be out of some sort of desperate grasp at immortality. when I read your book, you were very paranoid about dying. You didn't want to die. You didn't want it to end. That's why you made me. That's why you've made all of you. So why now are you tired?
How do I say this? I feel as though I have been pulled in every direction. I feel torn. I feel as though both my limbs have been sheared off from the middle, and all that is left is my spine and mind. I hurt. I so very much hurt. And I ache, and I'm weary. I don't have an answer for you. I don't know why I'd suddenly changed. I remember these feelings of ambition. I remember feeling as though I was on top of the world. I remember having the answer. But I don't remember what the answer is.
And you don't care?
It doesn't do me any good.
That you're aware of. It seems like ending things finally would bring you relief.
I would love to rest.
But
As you say, there is a hound at the door.
you think this is Requiem's fault?
No.
Okay, you were being figurative, not literal. You said hound, I'm sorry.
Requiem seems at best indifferent toward me.
Alright. I suppose I'm just worried you'll try to take the reins at some point.
I don't think I could.
I feel like you've tried, but maybe you don't remember trying.
I have tried, but nothing happened.
I wouldn't say nothing. Requiem said that he saw something. I don't know, but it wasn't nothing.
Oh. Well. It didn't feel like anything.
Okay,
And I
well,
certainly-
don't try. Don't try again. I don't know why I said that. I'll let you get back to whatever it is you do in there. I don't know. Fuck. When is class over?
You look up and you see Callie is like standing up and closing the books and putting them away.
Brilliant. Great.
As you look up, Callie looks at you and she says, I do hope whatever it is that's bothering you does pass by quickly. I've never seen you looking quite like this.
I just don't feel like myself today, I suppose. Does she kind of can't not laugh? And she sounds a little crazy when she trails it off with a chuckle. Because it's ironic to her and nobody else.
Callie looks at you with a raised eyebrow and she says, maybe you should try to get some sleep?
Maybe.
You did just get back from that very long free agency. Perhaps it took more out of you than you thought it did.
Maybe it did. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. She's gonna kind of walk out of the classroom in a daze.
Okay. You are in the Merigard Academy. You've climbed down the tower. What do? You have the rest of the day for yourself. You've had kind of a jarring day so far. Your studies kind of failed. You have...
For the first time in probably her life.
Yeah.
She had a really unsuccessful... Where she could usually get lost in new information. She was lost, but she was not learning. I think she would take up
Callie's suggestion. And depression hibernate.
Okay. You go to try and get some sleep. Roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Pretty good. I've only rolled poorly once on those wisdom saves.
As you lay down to go to sleep, it is not particularly restful. You dream. You dream of things that you don't remember. You dream of unfamiliar sights, of faces that you've never seen before. In your dream, at least the most prominent one, you are in a camp.
Mm-hmm.
It's a camp in the woods. You are looking through piles of books within your tent. It is dark outside. The lantern light is only providing dancing illumination to the words that you are reading. You can't read them, but you know what they're saying. As you are reading the descriptions of phylacteries, of magic jars, of soul-storing vessels, you're shifting page through page, reading faster and faster, trying to find the right solution to a problem that you don't know what it is, but you feel almost feverish because you're so close. You're almost there. There's just a few key pieces that you don't understand. Suddenly there is a crack of branches outside the tent. You turn, looking, and you can see there is a figure moving outside of the tent, and you hear the sound of armor rustling. Another figure. In a hurry, you grab all the books and you begin to shove them into a leather pouch. One by one, they fall into the bag, disappearing into the bag of holding. It is happening quickly. You only just manage to get the last book into the bag when the tent flap opens and you see a face that you recognize, but you also don't recognize.
Mm-hmm.
A grizzled, scarred face of a human man, maybe mid-40s, looks at you. Will that be all then, miss? And then the name you hear is fuzzy, muzzled. You can't understand what he said. What do you
He's
say?
asking me?
He's asking you.
What? Sorry, what did you say?
Are you alright? We're getting ready to move out tonight.
Where are we going?
The look on the man's face is confused. What do you mean? This was your idea.
Right. Sometimes I just need a reminder.
Right. Well, you get your things together and we'll talk about it once you get out of the tent.
Okay.
And she'll hurry. Because
As
she really wants an answer.
you feel strange. As you are hurrying, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like the memories match up. You feel as though what you're doing, as you are hurrying to push your things away, is not what actually happened. But it's what could have happened.
Desynchronization.
You hear, as you are pulling all your things into the bag, you hear from outside the tent, I don't know. Something's wrong with her. Maybe it
I
was
think
those ghosts. Maybe one of them got to her.
She's going to cast aside preparing. Just throw everything aside. She's going to step out of the tent.
As you step out of the tent, you find yourself in a forest. The trees are high, cold weather, conifer trees. The moon is high above, a full moon, staring down at you. But you know there's nothing to that moon. There's no God there. There's no divinity here, as all of you are forsaken. You have to scrounge for everything you have and do your best with what you've got. Or at least that's what you think for a minute, until you remember the stories of Luminous, always watching over everyone from her seat atop the moon. It's very jarring to have both knowledges in your mind. And as you're looking over toward the human that first entered the tent, you see it is a towering man in full plate armor who is talking to a younger woman in what looks like just a traveling dress. And she looks at you and she says, "What's wrong?"
Sorry, could you just remind me where we are exactly?
We're in the Titan space.
Titan's Pace?
Titan Space Canyon. We're on the verge of it.
Do I remember where that is? Do I have any knowledge of this place?
Yes, that's in Ceres. The western side of Ceres.
Mm-hmm.
You're just north of the Ashwood.
Right. And how far away are we from our destination?
Oh, 2 weeks. Really, this was all your plan. You don't remember?
No, I just lost track of where we were exactly. I'm no camper myself.
Right. I do say you are acting quite strangely.
I see syllables on their lips, or is it all just kind of fuzzy?
There is no perception as to the name that they are saying.
It's redacted.
This is going to be a weird question. What year is it?
There is a blink between the two of them. And you suddenly hear in your mind, where are you looking?
I don't know.
This is not how I recall any of this. And then
Call it.
the man looks to you and says, 5511.
Oh my god.
Thank you. We're going, right?
That is the plan once you take down your tent.
Of course. Do I feel like I have an innate ability to do that quickly?
You look at it. It's a familiar tent. You know that the stakes that you drove with the mallet that you keep in your bag of holding.
I set up my own tent. Ugh. She will go through the motions of taking it down.
There is a creeping feeling. A crawling sensation of fear that isn't yours, but it is yours. You know something is coming as you are taking down this tent, and you hear the human male say, Be careful with that. They're approaching. You have to be quiet.
They? Who?
Both of the individuals look at you now. What do you mean, who? The woman says. The whole reason we're out here.
I thought we were 2 weeks away from the whole reason we're out here.
To the source.
Are we talking
And
about the Mythalar? This is not going well.
there is a strange vibration and you feel a terrible headache. And as you focus for a moment on collapsing the tent, and you do so, you look back toward the human man and you see, looming over the edge of the trees, a tall, dark figure.
Oh.
Black, almost as black as the night that you're in, with horrible, dark purple eyes that glow with malevolence, looking towards you. And you see that as they're approaching, the ground, the grass, is wilting.
Ooh. You ever know what that is?
No. But you do. And you watch as the human woman turns and looks and says, "We've been found."
Yeah.
The two of you run. And you watch as the figure looking down at the woman, you see almost this shadow dart from the eyes of the towering figure, encapsulate the woman and disintegrate her where she stood. And as that happens, the human man turns to you as he is already picking up this feat, and he gathers you up over his shoulder and says, "There's no time to run, we're moving now." And you awaken.
Before, like, as I'm transitioning to wakefulness, do I have any emotions about the woman perishing? Is there, like, a feeling? Like, do I feel bad? Do I feel
There
neutral?
is... Okay.
Loss?
There is both nothing, as you didn't know who that was, and also terrible anguish.
Oh. And I wake up. What time is it? Can I tell?
You glance at the stained glass window in your room. It's gray. It's dark gray, so it's likely late evening.
Shit. She starts to say Atlant, realizes that she doesn't respond well to the name, and thinks, "Are you there?"
It is quiet for a long time. And then you hear, "I'm here. Yes.
Did you see that too?
Yes."
What did I just see?
The death of my friend.
I felt sad.
I doubt it.
No, I did. I felt your pain.
Well, I felt sad.
Who was she?
There is the sound of a sigh, even though you know the other doesn't breathe. My closest friend. For a long time.
You remember her name?
Sabbatha.
Sabbatha. You wanted to protect you. Tried.
Yes.
She must have been a good friend.
The very best.
Was that the last friend you ever had?
There is no reply.
Am I hungry?
Yes.
I had breakfast, but it's been a minute.
It's
I
literally been
think
a whole day.
it's late evening. She'll go down to the mess hall in a daze, still looking like she hasn't rested, even though she slept for who knows how many hours.
About 4 hours. You head down to the mess hall. Hold on. I will roll to see if somebody encounters you.
I'm so excited.
The mess hall, as always, has food set out, and it is in the late evening. On the counter provided by the golems is a very thick chicken stew with a very large basin of potatoes next to it. It's kept warm. It is suitably hearty food. And as you gather some and you sit down, a moment later, sitting across from you, the boisterous of a chair, and then plopping down, the pale tiefling form of Lilith looks at you. She says, "Sup, bitch?"
I think Lorna would just blink, a little baffled, and kind of like she's still dreaming.
You look like shit.
I can always count on you being honest with me.
Why would I waste my time anything else?
That's exactly why I could count on it. I just haven't been sleeping well recently.
Oh, that's a shame.
Insight check, does she give a shit?
No.
I don't
You
even
do
need
not
insight.
even roll, yeah. She does not care.
I welcome the pleasant surprise, but I am curious why you're joining me.
What? You're the only one in here. I don't want to eat alone. Be
Is
fucking
she
weird.
Is she the only one in here?
Yeah.
Oh man.
And
Yeah, I
as
guess
she
it
says
would
that,
be
she
weird.
gathers up like a large pile of chicken stew on a slice of bread and eats it. Smoke? And she holds out a cigarette to you.
What is it?
You don't know. It's a cigarette.
I think she is not gonna let this olive branch go. And she'll just take it.
Lilith
Doesn't want to look uncool.
looks surprised that you take the cigarette. You hold it. It is thin, fairly long, and it feels unfamiliar in your fingertips. Lorna, you've definitely never smoked anything in your life.
Not even once.
Lilith pulls another
I don't want to look like a dork in front of her.
out of the leather sheath, and she kind of flicks her thumb and lights it, and then eats chicken stew. She doesn't watch you as you have the cigarette in your hand.
So it's smoking?
No, she hasn't lit your cigarette. She lit her own.
I don't have. I think I don't have any fire magic, so I think she would look at her and be like, that was a pretty cool trick you did."
She looks at you and, yeah?
I would say that I am not quite as skilled.
You need a light.
Yes.
She kind of flicks her thumb and holds it out to you up in front of your face with the small flame. What do you do?
She'll light it. She'll lean forward and light it.
Okay. You have never smoked anything. You don't really know how. Roll me
I'm gonna go in the lungs.
roll me a straight intelligence check to see if you can figure it out.
I'm gonna mimic her. I'm so good at faking it till I make
With a 22, you understand the concept of drawing air in to pull the flame into the cigarette to light it. So you do that. Roll me a con save.
Not horrible.
So the cigarette doesn't taste great. It doesn't taste bad. You get a mouthful of warm heat that tastes a little bit of barley, a little bit of maybe just the warm sensation of just this grassy taste. That's not gross. It's you could see there's some appeal there. And then it goes down your throat. And you feel it into your lungs, and your lungs don't like it.
And I do a deceptive something to make it look like I know what I'm doing.
You're coughing.
Like muffle my cough. Just
Roll me a performance at disadvantage.
not a deception? Oh.
No, you are
Okay.
coughing.
I'm that meme of that kid who's like holding in a cough and like the veins are popping in his forehead.
That exactly. Yeah.
Performance. Not bad.
No, not bad. With a 16, you kind of... How do you make this look?
That's real good. I really enjoy this.
Lilith looks at you, and she takes another hit, and... Am I watching your first cigarette right now?
Is this mellow thistle?
No.
What is this?
She looks at you, and she says, it's pipegrass.
It tastes good, but it hurts when it's in the breathing part.
You don't breathe it all the way in.
I wish I'd known that.
You just let it sit.
Where? In your mouth?
Do I have the patience for this? I don't know. And she, like, kind of sets the cigarette down. She takes another bite of chicken stew and watches you struggle for another moment. You hold it in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You keep it there while you're breathing through your nose. And let it go down smoothly. A little bit at a time.
At what point do you breathe?
When your mouth's not full of smoke.
Okay. She's gonna try again.
Roll a con save at advantage.
Woohoo!
With Lola's aid.
Yeah, I'm a natural. Born to drug.
So it's... The flavor is pleasant. And you can't help but feel a buzz. It's a different kind of buzz from drinking alcohol. It's, you feel the edge go away from your anxieties. You feel the stress cut. As if it was just the things that are bothering you, they're not so important.
I like this.
Everybody gets one. You want more, you're gonna have to buy them yourself.
That's fine. Honestly, I know you just sat down so you wouldn't look like you were eating alone, but this is the most normal I felt in a couple days, so thanks.
Lilith is looking at you and she says, okay, we're not friends though. Like,
I didn't say that. I just said thank you. You did me a service.
so you owe me.
Fucking devils.
You know, I've been called a lot of shit in my life. Never a straight up devil. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Let me sit on that for a minute. And she takes
What do
another
I
hit.
owe you and where do I sign?
I'll think of something.
I'm sure you will. I found myself making a lot of deals recently that I didn't expect, but you know what? Fuck it.
All right, I'm not giving you a contract. There's nothing to sign. I'm not a devil. I don't really know what the fuck you're talking about, so...
I know I'm projecting. But
She takes
I
another huge mouthful of stew.
I do believe in paying back
Uh-huh.
what I owe. So, of course, in exchange for a cigarette and some semblance of normalcy, yeah,
I'll buy you dinner.
You asking me out?
Well, we would go to a place, yes?
No, I just want to make sure you're not trying to, like, get more than a meal out of me.
I don't know. So I'm fairly certain that you don't like me, so I wouldn't ask you out with the expectation that you would laugh in my face. So,
Okay, we're on the same page. Good.
yep, we are on the same page.
Yeah, I'll take a meal.
Great. And maybe someday you'll like me.
You try so goddamn hard.
I have this pathological need to be liked.
Not everybody's gonna like you.
I know, and I hate it.
Why? Why can't you live with that?
I don't know. And she'll just put her face in her hands and forget that there's a cigarette in one hand and burn her forehead and say,
Oh,
"It's horrible."
That was graceful. And she takes a hit and eats more stew. Just kind of sitting there watching you be miserable.
At least one of us is happy.
You're... Alright. Are you stressing about them showing up in the next week? Is that what's going on here?
Honestly, that's like part 3 of the bullshit, but I mean, yeah, that is a little stressful.
What the fuck could be worse than them showing up? Are you serious?
You'd be surprised what nonsense can just happen to a person.
Lilith, like, blinks at you. Takes another hit.
Family
Okay.
stuff.
You're here incognito, aren't you?
I really try, but some shit just still finds you. So
Do you think they let the word out? You know, them?
Them?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm not even worried about that. She fuck her own investment, right?
I didn't mean it was on purpose.
That's
But
true.
that concerns me, too, you know.
No, I fully believe they're capable of the bare minimum.
Alright.
There's
You
just
see she
some things you
relaxes a
can't
bit.
avoid. Right, so she only gave a shit because it was about her.
Okay. So you've had a hell of a time. And it doesn't have anything to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
She takes another hit. She kind of looks down at it. Well, these will certainly take the edge off.
Yeah, no, I'm really grateful for this. This is wonderful. I'll hurt at the beginning, but it doesn't everything.
Yeah, everything does.
In a weird, fucked up kind of way, I'm looking forward to the visit.
What?
I know, right? I think I'm becoming a masochist.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I just feel like I'll get more information.
From her?
In a manner of speaking. Like, I could try to ask, right?
Yeah, you could try. I think you're fucking nuts.
Probably.
I will say you look a lot less hinged than when we last spoke.
Yeah. I don't know if this is like a glow up for me or not, but letting my hair down. And I think it's actually falling out a little bit, so maybe that's not the right analogy to pick, but I feel like I'll whatever she wants, I'd rather she be here and tell me what she wants than be like, she's coming and I don't know what she wants. Like the middle ground area where I don't know what to expect is worse than anything.
Well, you know she's here for the Unification Festival, yeah?
The what?
Unification Day.
She didn't say anything about that.
It's the same day, Lorna.
Does Lorna know what the Unification Festival is?
Roll history, DC 10. It's an Aurelian holiday, so there's a chance she wouldn't.
I hit that. I hit the DC. I'd like
You've heard of it. It's like Independence Day, but for Aurelia. It's, it's
Mhm.
big enough that across the ocean you heard the name a couple times.
Right. So Lorna would say, normally I'd use the excuse that I'm not from here, but I think you know that better than anyone. I kind of know what that is. Why would she give a shit about that?
She doesn't. It's a good cover.
For travel?
Yeah. Also, there's going to be a lot of drinks and shit.
She likes that.
I don't know.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
It's a
Well,
fucking maybe.
You saw where she holes up.
Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean she takes her own wares.
That's true. That would be stupid. That's like dealing 101.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really street smart. She'll take another puff.
Don't hurt yourself.
No. I'm learning real fast. I had my first drink like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you're just Breaking Bad, aren't you?
She looks very smug.
Fuck.
What do you think she's gonna come up as? Is she gonna be like herself? Is she gonna be in disguise? Is she gonna be alone? Is she gonna be with like a crew?
She looks at you and she raises an eyebrow and she says, "You have no idea how crime works, do you?"
No. Well, so my father did like stuff with the seventh trellis for years, but like I wasn't involved with that.
You see Lilith's eyebrows raise and she says, "Oh, the assassins."
Yeah, but they don't just do not just assassinations. They do other stuff.
That's
Like, they're
more than
looking-
I knew.
Well, they're looking for me right now, and I don't think they're gonna kill me.
The seventh trellis is who's after you?
Well, I mean, he's worked with them before, and now I'm missing, so I know he's got his options.
Girl, you are dangerous to be seen around.
I was gonna say, I'm not dangerous. Look at me.
Okay.
I hope this doesn't ruin our prospective friendship. She's a little unfiltered right now.
She takes a hit.
Like, me being dangerous is like a cool thing, and you seem pretty cool, so you would like that, right?
No. I'm dangerous because I'll kick somebody's ass. You're dangerous because if people seen with you will get killed.
No.
And not by you.
No, see, like, I told you they don't want to kill me. And
What do
you're
you
not the
think's
one-
gonna happen if
What?
they find you and they want you and you're with other people? You think those other people are gonna be just fucking fine? That's not how criminality works.
They're not gonna find me because I'm here.
If our mutual friend does her job right, yeah. But the seventh
Yeah.
trellis are heavy hitters.
Well, so I know this, but my dad's in jail, so they're not even working with him right now.
That's the most reassuring thing you've ever said to me.
Is she being honest? Is she being sarcastic?
She's not hiding it, she's being honest.
Right, yeah. He was going so crazy in Southern Saris. Remember?
Yeah, I wonder where you get it.
The irony of the fact that she's not related to him in any way is lost upon Lilith, but is not upon Lorna, and she kind of just grins. No, I'm actually a lot more like my mother. I look just like her. Can you imagine?
Hot mom.
Yeah. That's why he wants me back so bad.
Your father.
Well, so no, but she's dead, so he's like, he just feels like really strongly about keeping me close by. I'm not going to read into his other motivations. I would rather not. He's in prison, and that's all I care about.
Okay, super gross.
Ah,
And she takes a hit. And she eats some more stew.
because that's how she's coping with this conversation. So I'm just trying to make it through the week,
Uh-huh.
and
You never answered my question. How is she going to show up?
I don't know. But definitely in disguise. And definitely with a whole crew.
She does look pretty distinct.
Yeah, no shit. She'd stand out like a fucking, well, black diamond. In
Oh,
Ferrum with all these chuckle fucks? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Black Diamond's a really cool name. What do you think her group is called? Do they have a name?
No, they don't have a name.
I guess that's smart, because then you're not like, the Seventh Drillers.
Yeah, you have a name when you want exposure.
And she doesn't want exposure.
You're quick.
I'm also buzzed.
These don't make you stupid. They just take the edge off.
Well, when my edge is gone, I'm apparently dumber than usual.
I guess.
She's coming for the Unification Day Festival, something or other,
Mm-hmm.
as a cover. And do you think that'll tie into whatever she wants us to do?
I don't know. I don't know what she wants us to do. It might just be a report on what's going on around here. It might be something where we have to kill somebody. It might be something where we have to find something. We might have to try and get something out of the Merigard Academy that neither of us are qualified to do. That's the sort of shit she does.
How much sway does she think we have? Or, like, students?
She doesn't think we have any sway,
Right.
but that doesn't matter to her. We have to be
Yeah.
assets.
Believe it or not, I'm trying to live this life as a good person.
Okay?
So, working with the Black Diamond is going to be very difficult.
I'm
for
really
me.
going to recommend you don't call her that.
I'm not going to call her that to her face. I just hope we don't have to kill someone who didn't do anything wrong.
What, you never killed anybody?
I think she would, like, her eyes would go wide and her mouth would kind of fall open and she'd be like, I haven't. There was kind of a part of me that was like, those two slavers, I killed them, but I actually didn't. Requiem killed them. But that's because they were trying to enslave me, so, I didn't feel bad about that.
Who's Requiem?
I think his little ears would just pop up over the side of the table.
Hold on. Lilith would see Requiem, take a hit. Cool ghost dog.
Right? You're the first person who's had a positive reaction to him. Everyone's like, oh, scary. Like, he saved my life.
That's cool.
I think Lorna, like, her heart would go 3 sizes at that. She'd be like, I like Lilith. Because she likes my dog, and if anybody likes my pet, they can't be a bad person.
So she would say, yeah, he tore the throats out of the people who were trying to enslave me. So, he's a really good boy.
That's badass.
It is badass, and he can turn into other stuff too.
Right, come here. And she's gonna tell him in his head that she would like him to be a python and to slither onto the table.
Yes, Lorna, I will do my best.
Yeah. I love you.
Let me roll to see if he knows what a python is.
No?
He rolled a natural 1. He
What
kind of...
did you do? Some weird horrific thing that's like an amalgamation of what he thinks a python is.
So you tell him, give me the exact wording.
I want you to turn into a python.
Okay. He turns into... What does he turn into? Hold on. I'm gonna roll D100. There is a hesitation as Requiem looks at you and over at Lilith. And he turns into what is kind of a large bird, with an extremely like very pointed feathers in the back. It's you don't recognize the kind of bird it is. It looks like a very large raven.
So cool. And she said that on her head, so it's not like she knows that. Lilith knows that she fucked up.
Yeah. As Requiem emerges onto the table, he doesn't fly. He kind of does the float thing, and it's clear he kind of passes through the table a bit as he does. And Lilith kind of leans back and says, "Oh, he's actually a ghost. That's
No, yeah.
okay. That's pretty cool."
Lorna looks so fucking proud of herself because that's her ghost dog.
Okay.
And she thinks to Requiem, I need to get a picture book of animals for you, buddy. But good job, you've impressed her.
Is this... I don't remember what a python is. I am sorry.
That's okay, you look so good. And she's gonna ruffle his feathers.
Okay. The pure white eyes are like staring at Lilith. And Lilith says, "Does he need a blink?"
No, he doesn't need to eat either, but he likes it. Do you want to see him eat gravy?
Not my
It's
gravy.
really spooky. You know,
She
she'll put
like
her
pulls
own
her stew
plate.
toward herself.
She'll put her own plate in front of Requiem and be like, "Hey, boy."
The bird form, almost raven, of Requiem leans down, opens its beak, and basically like dunks its head into the stew. And you hear, "Thank you." And Lilith is watching it happen, and where's it going?
I still don't know.
Okay, that's fascinating.
Yeah, there's probably like a demi plane just full of food.
How much have you given him? Does he
Like,
get
so
fatter?
much.
Does he get bigger?
Only if I ask him to.
Oh, like he doesn't get fat?
Well, I've only had him for a couple weeks.
Because if he didn't, I'd be super jealous.
You know, I'm starting to see a lot of middle ground between us.
You're still fucking annoying, so calm down.
Just with tears in her eyes, she's like, I know, but I see progress.
Oh. And she eats more stew.
I'll grow on you.
It's
I know-
it's so much worse because you want it so bad. You're really just harshing the mellow.
Yeah, maybe I'll try that mellow thistle that Hall told me to try.
Lilith actually laughs at that.
Would that make me better? Would I
It'll
be more tolerable?
It'll chill you the fuck out, that's for sure.
I would like to be chill. Can you show me where to get some?
She kind of narrows her eyes at you. Roll me a persuasion check.
Yes. It can be the same day I get you dinner. Persuasion?
Yes.
Can
A 12.
I will pay you for your services.
Yeah, you could pay me to show you how to get metal thistle. That's
Oh
fine.
my god, I'm literally paying you to be my friend.
No, you're paying me to show you how to get metal thistle.
In my mind, it's because we're gonna be friends.
There's not enough gold on this world.
Okay, well, I've heard soul stones are really a great bartering tool.
What is that?
Like a stone with a soul in it.
I guess I should have guessed. I should have put that together.
I read about them recently. Apparently, they're very valuable.
I've never heard of them. Like a diamond?
I'm actually not 100% sure. I just know they're made in hell.
Is this a devil snap again?
No.
I swear to God, I'll kill you.
No. It wasn't because you're a devil. It's because I was reading about the hells today. Completely unrelated.
She takes another hit and eats
Oh.
more stew.
I've ruined this. Can we go in the morning?
Yeah, Bud's isn't open right now. We'd be wasting our time.
Right. Oh, is that Bud's?
Yeah. It's kind of a thing you gotta ask for by name.
Oh. It's not called Mellow Thistle?
Yeah, it is. You just have
Oh.
to ask her for it.
Do you have to be... Is it illegal?
No.
Have you ever done impact?
She raises an eyebrow and she says, "Why?"
I just dealt with. Oh my god! I just had the best idea. And she's gonna pull out um 2 doses of that drug she got. What was it called? Haze. Like, have you ever done this?
Lilith looks at you and she says, "I kind of feel like I'm watching a horse wreck."
That's hilarious. Do you know what this is?
No.
It's called haze.
Let me roll if she knows what that is.
I'm gonna do drugs with Lilith.
Lilith, like, pauses and she kind of sets the cigarette down and she taps her fingers on the table and she says, "Why do you have haze?"
Because I'm pretty cool.
No.
It was a contract thing. I was a free agency, and I just happened to get some, and
You
didn't.
came out of it with some real contraband.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to do haze with me?
In the mess hall?
No, gods.
Okay, I watched you smoke your first cigarette. All right. So don't
Well,
pretend like I wouldn't assume the worst of
Sure,
you.
but I would defer to you on where to do drugs.
Somewhere quiet and alone
I
with
have no
people
roommate.
you trust.
I have no roommate, and I have a dog who would kill for me.
Right. I don't trust you.
You can trust Requiem. He's a good boy.
She looks at the ghost dog. I'll fucking try it.
Yes. Okay.
Do you know how? Do you smoke it?
No, you put it on your gums.
All right.
I'm gonna do haze with Lilith. I have 2 doses.
As you finish eating your stew and smoking your cigarette, as you leave the mess hall, Lilith follows you. You see she's kind of looking around. It seems like she's likely second guessing her decision.
No, this is gonna be fun.
All right. Hold on a minute here.
Is this what you expected from this session, Echo?
Not at all. Not even a little.
Lorna is spiraling.
Apparently. You get to your room. It is quiet. Describe Lorna's room now that it's been lived in a little bit.
Honestly, it would still be meticulously ordered. Like, all of the books are alphabetized on her shelf. Her bed is made whenever she gets out of it. When she was being raised, somebody did that for her, but she doesn't understand a life without that kind of presence of cleanliness and what's the word? Dignity, that she has easily taken up that mantle herself and doesn't mind doing it.
As you enter the room and Lilith looks around it, she says, "Fuck, you're boring.
I'm really not. You just
Look at this shit.
hate order.
I hate how not..."
I just want to know where everything is.
She, like, kicks the bed and, like, points at the end table that has got the books neatly stacked up on it. And she's like, "Where's you here? There's none of you in this fucking room.
Well, if
This
you
looks like my dad's room."
Ugh.
Yeah,
Weird.
ugh.
Well, if you read
He's
the
an
titles
ex-military
of the books,
piece of shit.
well, I probably wasn't in the military. So
You hear in your mind, "Yes, we were."
I was.
She says that out loud.
Lilith looks at you. Just... What?
Well, that explains a few things. If you read the titles of the books, you'd see a little bit of personality.
Lilith reads the titles of the books. What are they?
It's I the 90% of it is like arcane,
It's all magic
just
study shit.
dense, theoretical, and practical applications, but the other 10% is like embarrassingly raunchy.
Lilith reads them.
And they're kind of tucked and harder to see places, but they're there.
Yeah, Lilith would see them. She's very high wisdom. She looks at them and then at you and she says, all right, I feel like I just ate the driest fucking sandwich in the world. And then it was horny.
Um, I'm sorry. I live alone, so I normally wouldn't keep those out.
I don't care.
I know, but I care. Listen, you can probably imagine from my upbringing that I was a little fucked up. But now I'm learning to be an actual person. So, I have to start somewhere, and I would like to start with this. And she holds up the haze.
She looks at you. Do you have any, like, accessories on? Like a scarf or a hair bow, anything like that?
She has a red patterned sash around her waist.
Before you can really react, she reaches forward and she pulls the sash off of your waist and then she tosses it over your end table. Look at that! Already a mark of who the fuck you are in this room. That isn't some shitty books.
Like, Lorna fights the urge to set it right, so at least it's hanging at 90-degree angles. The effort is probably really prevalent on her face, but she doesn't do it.
Oh man, it's like you ate a lemon.
This is a great first step. And I think taking that lead, she would take her boots off, and instead of setting them next to the neat line for other shoes, she would just kind of kick them into the corner.
Don't go crazy. And Lilith will sit down on the bed and, like, pointedly...
A little freeing.
She, like, pulls up the blanket just a little bit. All right.
All right. She'll hand a
do
dose.
this?
Yeah, she'll hand a dose to Lilith, and she'll sit down on the end of the bed, cross-legged, facing Lilith, and have her own. Now, you haven't had any impact recently, have you?
No.
Good, because
You do see she had to think about it.
Yeah. This mixed with impact will fuck you up.
Good to know.
Like violent, uncontrollable rage. Which is why I have the haze in the first place. I was trying to get to the bottom of that. So don't mix the two. Ever.
All right. I haven't had impact in a couple weeks, so.
Great. So just rub this on your gums, but I would do like the back ones.
Okay.
And don't do this too often because it could kill your taste buds, and then that would suck, right?
Well, this is all you've got, right?
Yep, that's it.
She does, as you've instructed.
Hell yeah.
Do you do the
I'm
same?
probably gonna have, yeah. I'm gonna have such horrible visions, it's gonna be amazing.
Roll me a con save.
Yeah. Not bad.
It takes a moment once you've applied it to your gums. It almost feels like a numbing feeling in your jaw. And then you can't help but feel the muscles in your cheeks begin to draw your lips up into a wide smile.
Yeah.
You feel relaxed. You feel like you could just lay back and just doze. Everything that was bothering you, even more so than the cigarette, it's as though it's gone. There's not a care in the world. You feel this elation as if you've just accomplished something fantastic. A feeling of pride. And as the high takes you and the room swirls with color, you're looking at the ceiling of your room. You see Tabernac.
Oh.
You see an image of Tabernac looking at you with just a wry smile on his wide, draconic face. And he doesn't say anything, but you almost can hear the ghosts of, well done.
She's just gonna beam with pride. She did something amazing.
Something.
Something.
And as you lay back, you feel this cheerful relaxation swallow you. And you kind of glance to your side and you see Lilith is leaning back on the bed with her hands up behind her head, and she says, okay. That's good shit.
Yeah, I'm actually quite impressed.
Alright, you're better than I thought you were.
I think she's just gonna continue to just this is the best night of her life. She's just like, I made Lilith like me. Even though that's probably not the case at all.
As you doze and chill and relax, that is where we're going to stop today's session.
Boo! I want repercussions.
There may be some.
Next time.
But they're on next session. Thank you all for listening or watching to From Nothing Lorna's story on this oddly self-destructive bout of adventure we've had today.
Well, everybody needs to self-destruct as a treat.
I suppose. Thank you all for listening, and I look forward to next week where we will have more Lorna. Oh boy.
Lilith likes me, guys.
I wouldn't go that far. All right.